morning we're talking about what we casually named the Welcome Home Initiative. This was really a program that I think just started with action. We didn't overthink it. We didn't overplan it. We just started doing it. All right, here's what we were responding to. In 2022, Franklin Grand Isle region had 222 households who accessed emergency shelter programs. This is our coordinated entry master list. So really it's a measurement of people in emergency shelter in motels or in shelter at Voices or Samaritan House, as well as a handful of individuals living outside. It's certainly an undercount, but it's the closest thing we have to official data. 222 households with a total of 350 individuals, 274 of whom are adults and 76 of whom are children. Of those, about 40% report having zero income, and another 32% have income under $1,000 a month, meaning that 71% of those experiencing homelessness can't afford an apartment in our area without some type of rental assistance. And it also, and so a success is that also last year, we housed 108 households. We moved them from homelessness into permanent stable housing. But when people move into a home after experiencing homelessness, and you can see with the income data that we've presented, they're often not able to meet their basic needs in the home. We have historically in the last year did have funding that could support some furniture needs, but there's some unmet needs in terms of just some basic household essentials, which often can lead to people who become housed having housing insecurity as they try to afford things like a bed and sheets or stuff for their kid, forks and silverware for their kitchen, unlimited means. If they do, most rental assistance requires that they pay a portion of their income towards their rent, and so it can really come out of that funding that they have available for rent. And so I think we piggybacked off of, I believe it was Addison County that Kristen had talked about, and that was also in their faith-based community in collaboration, I think, with the Charter House there. And the Welcome Home Initiative offers a powerful stabilizing support. And more importantly, or as importantly, I'll say actually, it provides a message of welcome for people who often feel marginalized and unwelcome, who often face NIMBYism in their communities. It's a really not only it's the old-fashioned Vermont way of bringing a tray of muffins maybe to your neighbor's house as they move in, or a casserole dish. And maybe we should think about muffins. That's a good idea. But what we brought instead is some household goods. Does anybody want to add to this?
You don't want me to bake the muffins.
Okay. Anybody want to chime in?
I think I really feel that it's this is Jessica from First Congregational. Yeah. I have in my previous ministry, I worked exclusively with people experiencing homelessness and completely unsheltered for the most part. When they start getting housed, it's so hard for them to feel comfortable, for people to feel welcome. People know who they are, and that when they move into, they know where they're coming from. So there's a lot of, I don't know, there's just a lot of shame involved. And this, I think, the goal is to really take that away and just say, you know what, we are happy you are here. You are part of our community. So I know you said that. I'm just saying it again.
Yeah, and I think it's a message from the community, but it's also a message to themselves. I think when you move into when you experience homelessness, you feel unwanted and like not part of the community, not part of the place. And I think that when you move into a house and it's empty, you feel like you also, like, it doesn't belong to you and you don't belong there. You know, it's just a floor and four walls.
And a sense of not being valued.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know if you note this, but everything we give to folks is new. So we try, sometimes we have mugs that's all we can get is something that's from a yard sale, but it's new because they are valuable. They deserve new things. They're not getting cast-offs that no one cares about because that's how they've been treated so much of their lives.
Yeah, I know back when we first started the program, several of the first families that we helped kind of expressed they were just blown away. Literally, they were just astounded that they were, given this, given this help and this from the community. So I think her slide mentioned it's a small program, but it really has a huge impact. I think a huge impact on people, on their self-worth and their feeling of being part of the community.
So Welcome Home Initiative is a collaboration of several organizations, including representation from many in our faith-based community, including First Congregational, Grace Church, and the Holy Trinity, as well as many more who have run small fundraising campaigns and also made donations, as well as the Sheldon Food Shelf, Franklin Grand Isle Community Action, Samaritan House, Voices Against Violence, and the Restorative Justice Center. But many others have contributed ideas and support, and even just the support of helping our clients access the program along the way. So the supplies, and Jessica, do you want to talk about this? Because you are the supplies master. You are the holder and distributor and sorter and collector of all of this.
We are. First Congregational operates as like the hub because we are in St. Albans, and we don't deal directly with clients. We deal with caseworkers that will come and pick up the kits so that it helps protect and keep people from feeling too exposed. So at First Congregational, we hold, it's everything you need to get an apartment going. It's trash cans, it's dishes, it's pots and pans, it's utility, like, your scrapers and your whisks, it's laundry detergent, it's dish detergent, it's a toilet brush scrubber, it's hangers, it's pillows, it's Ziploc bags. So anything that you need to get an apartment going, and we know how expensive that is if you've ever moved, to get yourself outfitted. Mops, brooms. They also, the Sheldon Methodist Food Shelf provides us with all sorts, with the toiletries. So that's paper towels, toilet paper, shaving cream, razors, shampoo, soap, deodorant, toothbrushes, everything. We're also trying to work out a food distribution as part of this too.
The picture you saw in the previous slide is a photo of Pastor Jessica's car loaded up to the brim. She can barely see, picking up supplies. And then here is this is the itemized sort of list that households interested in accessing the program are given. So it's really customized, and based on what their needs are, they can choose which of the items that they need. And there's some more photos in there of really, it's no small service to provide space for all of these items. You can see they take up quite a bit of space, and to keep an inventory and track of them, and to go and be willing to do the shopping to be able to maintain that inventory and have it ready to go when people need it. So there's some photos of that.
So we're an old Congregational church, and Congregationalists are known for being a little stodgy, although we're quite progressive. But So we took over the front of the church and just threw all the welcome home stuff in there so they can relax a little bit in their space and see what we actually do in the community.
And then in addition to the household goods and toiletries, there's a food component. John, do you want to talk about that?
So initially, the food component, we said, well, gee, we would like to present to people with a sort of a full boatload of food like they would get if they came to my food shelf. We wound up a couple of challenges in that. Number one, the list of, unlike the household goods and the personal care items where here's a list and you can choose from the list and the list doesn't change, the list of food that I had available changes dramatically, sometimes from day to day. So the case manager, like Michelle, would say, okay, here, what of this food do you want? Well, some of those items might no longer be available, and I might have a bunch of new items that aren't on the list, and you say, well, do you give them to them or not? And in addition, a majority of these people are being housed here in St. Albans, and the case managers are people who work here in St. Albans, you know, restorative justice, work for community action, work for Samaritan House. So to have them have to come out to Sheldon and, you know, pick a time when they could come out to Sheldon and get the food, started to get very challenging. And so we've kind of coerced, or we're kind of coalescing, and I think we're going to create a system where we'll have just a very basic set of about 12 or 14 basic items like mac and cheese, tuna fish, some canned vegetables, some canned fruit, some spaghetti sauce, and some pasta, some things that are all shelf stable. And I can stock some of those in First Congregational Church along with the food stuff, so that when the case manager comes to pick up the household goods and the personal care items, they also get some of that basic set of foods. And then also hopefully introduce them to the information about the various food shelves here in St. Albans Community Action, Sheldon Food Shelf, the Abnaki Food Shelf in Swanton, but introduce them to all the different food shelves that they could potentially access and encourage them to access those food shelves on a regular basis. So we've kind of morphed that part of the program a little bit from where we were when we first started last year in July.
I know this is a little hard to read, but it is actually a copy of the letter of welcome that goes with the baskets. Jessica, do you want to talk about it?
So our goal, or one of the goal of part of this, is to really integrate faith-based organizations with social service organizations. That's a connection I think that needs to grow. So I've been trying to get in touch with other churches and have them take on part of the list and provide it. So we have Grace Episcopal Church in Sheldon. They provide all the kitchen stuff. We have Holy Trinity Church in Swanton, and they just say, what do you need? And I give them a list, and they will provide us with that. And so one of the things we want to do is also let them know where we are, how they can contact us if they need other support, and also if they do want to join us for a service or have another issue that they need to take to that they feel more comfortable at a faith organization, they have our contact info. We've also received a grant from Ben and Jerry's, and our local Girl Scouts who use First Congregational Church, they also collect for us. So they leave little piles of, sometimes, you know, little Ziploc bags or little extra laundry detergent that their moms have picked up for them. And that's me serving communion.
Over, I think, some donated items.
That was actually last Christmas, and we were collecting for Voices.
No, not yet.
And that's Grace Episcopal with the earth in the back, which I love that. That was for their, I think, their 4th of July parade. And of course, Holy Trinity.
And then Handy Cars was a donator, Ben and Jerry's, and the Girl Scouts. So.
And Handy, I think, was our first donation.
Yeah. Yeah, so we also were able to utilize some funding from the United Way. Thank you all you United Way people who are still here that Franklin Grand Isle Community Action holds in order to buy some supplies as well. So funding has come from there. This is a program that's really able to provide an immense and important service on pretty limited funding too. It's not that expensive. And we've been able to sustain it by piecing it together in sort of small pieces here or there.
I think each kit is about $200. That's what we, before the recent sort of inflation. Yeah.
So the Welcome Home Initiative began handing out Welcome Home kits in July of 2021. Since July, we have supplied 61 households with Welcome Home Initiative kits. In 2022, we supported 37 households. I think this program is also influenced by housing supply. We can sometimes see when we had for example, the units with Champlain Housing Trust, when they bought some condominiums in St. Albans that all had homelessness preferences. We had 10 units that came online sort of the same weekend. They all moved in, and that was a big rush of people accessing the program. But we can also go months where there's much less demand because there's just not available units. We are in the next 6 months really gearing up for a lot of homelessness preference units to come on board with VHIP, the Vermont Home Improvement Program funding. That if you're following any of the budget stuff, you'll see they're looking at allocating additional funding into that in the next session as well. But we have probably I would say almost 30 units coming on board in the next 6 months through that. So we are really expecting to see an increase in people needing to access the program. And so if any organizations are interested in running drives or have funding that they think that they can donate, that would be really helpful. So we do expect to see an increase in people accessing the program. And this is a picture of an actual kit that was delivered to a new home. And Michelle from the Restorative Justice Center, who provides amazing rockstar housing case management to individuals experiencing homelessness, and then also housing stability and retention support to them once they've moved in, is the one who delivered this particular kit, which I'm picturing now is at least 5 trips back and forth to her car, unloading, and another 5 loading, I'm sure. And 3 flights of stairs. And she's going to tell us a little bit about the impact and what it means to clients.
So because I work for Restorative Justice Center, my clients, in order to be referred to me, have to have a DOC current or past history with criminal background. So that totally changed what I was going to say, because when you brought up the word hope, these clients go through so much just to get a house, and you have to be really straightforward with them right from the get-go that I'm sorry, but you will be denied because you have a criminal background. I said, but we're going to appeal it, and probably 98% of my people I have won the appeal. There are some backgrounds that just don't fit with the community that they want to move into. So when we get to this Welcome Home Initiative, there's no hoops for them to jump through. It's just the hope of being able to feel like home and having this stuff. So to date, I have delivered, that's one of my favorite parts of my job, past getting someone securely housed, is getting this kit and picking it up. We see Jessica and all of her great people over there to help me load, and I get to deliver it to them, and they're so like amazed, like how much more stuff is coming in, Michelle. And so today I've delivered 9 kits, and 2 of them were this year. So that's what I told you. There's been a lot of movement and housing, and I'm probably going to be ordering one for next week. So one one guy was right after Christmas and he had a horrible Christmas. We had the place found, we had his voucher, but because it was Christmas, people are on holidays, you have to go through the inspection and whatnot. So he's spent Christmas in his car, which is super sad. So when I brought him the kit, I kept coming in and coming in. He's like, how much more, Michelle? I said I'd come out and help. I said, no, it's all right. I'm R2 legal, so I just want to get this. So he sent me a text later and he said, Michelle, this is like the Christmas present I never got. Thanks so much. So for me, these, what I call them open home kits, they're like the icing on the cake for my home. First they get the voucher, they find a place, and then they get nice new stuff, which is a real blessing.
Thank you for sharing.
It's like one of my favorite committees.
I think that that's the end of our presentation. Does anybody have questions?
Can I say something really quick?
Oh, yes, sorry.
The vast majority of welcome home kits are given through a caseworker. But the churches, sometimes we have people walking in and they have a place, but they don't have everything they need. So they don't need to be part of the program to get a welcome home kit. So if you know someone and they're not otherwise enrolled in some kind of program, just call First Congregational or call Jess or, and we'll be able to get them a kit.
Jacqueline?
Hi, I just wanted to ask if you have like the resources to get some basic like accessibility things if they were required, like basic things like non-slip mats, shower chairs, grab bars, throw rugs, plastic straws, like that.
That has not been part of the program so far. I think it would depend on cost, and I would want to explore ahead of time if there was additional funding that we could raid or address that through other programs and resources.
And barring that though, a call to the church that might open up there. We might be able to talk to a congregant who's willing to make a donation for something like that.
Ben?
I just wanted to say, as housing case managers and shelter providers, how valuable this program has been. We used to send people to mostly empty apartments or rely on whatever donations we might have, and spend a lot of staff time, case manager time, trying to find some of these basic things so that we could get people into an apartment. And for a couple of years now, we have known that if we can find somebody housing, they can get in there. They're going to feel, it's named perfectly, as just said, they're going to feel at home once they get there. They're not going to feel like they don't deserve things. It's there. It really is a warm welcome, but it makes a difference for our case managers, for our staff, knowing that when people finally get into housing, that they're set, that we're not going to have to jump to Facebook and hope we can find some used dishes and, a broom that isn't in terrible condition, that people are going to be set. And that's not how it was here, even when I started just a few years ago. So it's really a tremendous thing. And I know it takes a ton of work to make it happen. So thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Haley?
Hi there. I am so excited to share back to my team. This is such a great program. We work in both Chittenden and Franklin and Grand Isle counties. Is this program specifically for folks in Franklin and Grand Isle, or is it available to people outside of that area?
It's in Franklin and Grand Isle. Addison has a similar program, and Chittenden has other resources that can cover similar expenses.
Okay, perfect. When I share it with them, I'll make sure I specify that. Thanks so much.
Kristen?
Thanks, Jess. I just wanted to say what a beautiful job people have done picking this up and running with it, because this was really born out of the churches in Middlebury feeling like they couldn't do volunteer work during COVID. A lot of work that they did in the shelters and really frontline work, cooking, cleaning, just preparing things for people in shelters, they couldn't do because their volunteers were old and very vulnerable around COVID. And so this was one of the things that the faith community said, yeah, we can absolutely do this. We'll just buy stuff on Amazon and have it ready. And so this is something, yeah, this is the Addison County version of the program. And they were grateful to have an outlet to be able to continue to serve people during that time. And there's no reason this can't happen everywhere across the state or the country, because there's so many nonprofits and churches that want to do this work, and it's not that expensive per family. So I just want to say it was really simple, and the churches took it and ran with it. And so we're grateful to them.
And really and truly, this was all Kristen's fault. Kristen, when she shared with me what was going on there in Addison County, and I went, wow. At first, I thought it was Franklin County. And I said, well, we'll just add the food component. And then I found out, well, no, it's Addison County. So I said, well, okay, we got to start from the ground up. But the list of household goods and the list of personal care items that we provide that's the same list. We used the Addison County's information to so we didn't have to start from ground zero. We had some good information on which to build the program. So it was really pretty simple. We just had a Zoom meeting and we all said, hey, let's make this happen. Jess and Jessica and I don't know who else was on the Zoom, but we just said, hey, let's make this happen. And we're fortunate. Jess is really kind of the driver of this, because she's the person who has the fingertips on who are the unhoused people, who are the people who are being transitioned into housing, and she can touch bases with all the different case managers. So let's say who are all the different. We have case managers, we have Restorative Justice
Center. Voices Against Violence has been a good accessor of the program. Samaritan House has been a good accessor of the program. I think those are the most.
Hey, John, the other benefit that I've seen in this program is it's given hope to the churches that are doing this work. It gives hope to our staff to be able to offer people brand new items instead of used things. I've always struggled with making people who are homeless and moving into a new place to give them crap to move in. That's always been like nagging at me in this world. It's like, why do they deserve secondhand goods? So that was the piece that, everybody was excited about, that to be able to offer something like that. So that helps everybody. It helps our staff feel good about being able to offer those things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach Up was the other one who's really, because Reach Up provides housing case management to their participants. So, Megan?
Quick question for Kristen. From my personal perspective, on Saturdays, I volunteer at a thrift shop in Addison, and the money goes back to the community, but it's St. Peter's Church. I don't think we're accessing this program with our funds. Who's the contact? Do they call it Welcome Home Initiative in Addison?
It's something like
It went through United Way, I think, and originally through Helena.
Okay.
If you just reach out to her or Carrie Duquette Hoffman, the field director down there, either one of them can hook you up. But it really was the churches saying, what can we do where it's not hands-on, because we just can't have our volunteers in the shelter right now. And so it's a beautiful thing, and I hope it continues forever, because people deserve that.
Yeah, I think it's St. Joseph's, I think is the St. Joseph's Episcopal Church in Middlebury is kind of the first congregational church of their program. And that's how I figured out is in Middlebury. It's, St. Joseph's Church. So I Googled St. Joseph's Episcopal Church in St. Albans, and it said, no, there isn't one. It's in Middlebury. That's how I figured out it was in Middlebury. But I'm pretty sure at St. Joseph's, the Episcopal Church in Middlebury they're kind of the faith coordinator of the program in Addison.
Thanks, Megan. Eric?
Yeah, no, this is great. And again, back when I was doing housing work, I wish we had something like this, because as you pointed out, Kristen, it was often getting vouchers, and the best you could do is get secondhand stuff from some other providers in the community, and those vouchers only went so far. I'm wondering if, and I think about, Haley just recently asking, like, is this just a FGI thing, or is it accessible in other places? And is this something that's been brought to the attention of folks statewide? Like, I don't know if this is something that could be pitched to like the Vermont Coalition to End Homelessness or someone like that, because it seems really like a best practice that every community in Vermont could benefit from. And it's such an amazing thing where it's just, you're wrangling a bunch of different community partners and asking each entity to do a small piece, and harnessing that collective energy really, makes a huge impact with everybody just doing a small part. It would be really great if this could be put on the radar of a larger audience, and I don't see why like the entire state wouldn't benefit from a system like this in their community.
Agree. I will bring it back up to the field directors again as something that's pretty easy to start and really does make people feel good. And it helps build that relationship and keep people engaged with you, I agree. It should be happening.
I mean, I like that totally benefits the clients, but I think it really gives an opportunity for a larger audience to participate and be a part of the solution, and make people feel good about seeing like a real tangible impact that even just a small effort on their part can make.
I have brought it up at a number of statewide meetings with lead agencies and BCH, but and a lot of communities have similar programs. Some of them are more like voucher programs instead of having an organization that holds it. But I think it is a good reminder, especially as we no longer have Rapid Resolution Housing Initiative funding, ended like 6 months ago. So really people were meeting that need with that funding, and going through a lot of trouble in their communities as lead agencies, like community action agencies, to do purchasing and manage deliveries and what was going where. So I think the other really nice thing about it is just the partnership with social services and the faith-based community, which is, I think, something that many communities aspire to and don't always achieve well. And so this has been, it was just such a doable thing that allowed that relationship to start. And so that's been very helpful.
I totally agree. I think the great thing about this program is that it creates connections on multiple levels. But I think really the unexpected for me benefit was really getting to know what's happening in social services, having regular conversations with Jess and Michelle, which helps when I get cold calls in the office from people needing help. I have a better idea of what's out there.
Yeah. Any other questions? Comments? Praise?
Thank you for an
Much
amazing
praise,
job.
yes.
Amazing program.
More laws just to throw money.
Make the check out to cash.
Yeah. It is fun to go do the shopping. I mean, I'm doing shopping for food all the time, but Jess and especially Jessica get to go, and the folks at Grace Church, they kind of get to go and say, wow, we're gonna go do this shopping.
Well, Jess and I went shopping together, and she's really someone to shop with. I'm like, we need toilet brushes. She's like, how many? I said, I don't know. And she just starts like going up to the.
Yeah.
I hate shopping, so I'm very efficient. Yeah, in and out. And I can do it at basically a run.
Yes.
I purchased $500 worth of camping equipment yesterday in like 20 minutes at Walmart. Swipe, got yeah.
Any other questions from anyone? Well, needless to say, this is an incredible initiative. You're all to be commended. Boy, you've changed the life of many individuals over the past couple of years. And you know, the other thing that needs, and I know you're very well aware of this, but I mean, you were doing all this in the midst of a pandemic as well. So once again, I'm sure we all feel the same way. Very thankful for all of you coming together and coming up with this initiative. It's really amazing, really amazing. So once again, thank you very much for presenting this morning. And once again, the 3 J's and an M that are the originators: Jessica Moore, Jessica Graff, John Gordon, and Michelle West, the 1 M. But anyway, outstanding. Keep doing the good work. I'm sure it's greatly appreciated. And you've mentioned it several times, but these people, you know, Kristen mentioned it earlier as well, that, you know, it's not used items, you know, that they're being respected in a way that I'm sure a lot of them haven't felt in a long time. Now, anyone have any initiatives or upcoming events or anything that you just like to make the group aware of? I know that certainly a lot of you utilize the weekly update that Melinda sends out for those purposes, but I just thought, since we're together before we leave it, anybody has anything, shout it out. And if not, we will end the meeting a bit early.